My philosophy, Chris, is if you're fireproof, you're fireproof, which means you're competitor proof. You know, some big name out of Florida just came into my market. I'm not going to give him the credit to say his two names, but they're here, not scared, not worried one bit, because I'm fireproof. And that sounds cocky as hell to whoever's listening to this, but I'm okay with it, because you read the book and become fireproof, and whatever happens. I mean, I just sat around a table with 7 of the biggest law firms in the country in Houston 2 weeks ago now. And these guys are inbred in their communities. They're giving back their communities. They love their communities. They're doing everything they can for their communities. And when a big competitor comes in, they just sit back and watch it happen. And none of them are concerned. And I'm not concerned. And with anything we're talking about, right? I am a conscious, active participant in my firm. I know what's going on. I know my numbers to the penny. I know the case counts to the penny. I know how many cases are coming in, how many are going out, how many we're settling each week, average everything. And it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half a week in my leadership meetings to review those numbers every week. I look at them once a week to know where the problems are, and it's not that hard. And I'll get up on every soapbox, I'll come on every podcast and get on every stage and say it until people start doing it. And they're going to be happier for it. And I know firsthand, because I see our fireproof clients happier. I meet with them, they're happier. They understand their numbers, and they're learning how to become ingrained in their communities. I think I used the word inbred in their communities earlier. That's not the right word. Maybe you could edit that for me. Yeah. I think it's ingrained. Yes. I don't think we're inbred, but I don't know if that's a bad word or not. I got to think about it. Anyway, it's early. It's Valentine's Day. I haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more, right? You know your numbers. And then branding, it's not just a, hey, come in and it's going to work in 3 months, right? It's going to take time. You build, you got to get that repetition, and also just controlling the channels for the distribution, whether it's radio or TV and those best spots. So, yeah, I could definitely see you being insulated and knowing your numbers and all those factors. One of the things that I just kind of wanted to pick your brain on is, like we have a traction coach. We have, that we meet with, that chairs our meetings. Would you say that Fireproof Performance, that you not only get a chairman, but you get a mentor? Because I think that's a big differentiator than all the other traction companies out there or that follow or similar, operating frameworks, because you're in the legal space that you have this data.
Chris, that's a very intuitive question. Nobody's ever asked me that. I'm never going to say a bad thing about EOS. Gina Wickman is a dear friend, my mentor, wrote the foreword to my book. I meet with him quarterly for the last 15 years. I'm meeting with him next month. EOS got me to where I'm at, period. Next paragraph. I did believe that there was a need for more than just EOS. EOS, you need to be self-motivated, you need to be a self-starter, and you need to go to your quarterly meeting, do your work for 90 days, and go back to your quarterly meeting. That is all EOS offers, and it's genius, right? What we offer at Fireproof is different. We are not competing with EOS. Several of our clients have EOS coaches, and we come in and do different things. We are lawyers. Our coaches have worked at law firms for 15 to 20 years. And I guess we do mentor them. We offer at a very, very low price 2 live teachings a month, what we call our community calls, where our Fireproof members gather and they're hot topics. If they miss it, they get it sent to them. It's all the past ones are on the Fireproof website for members only. We have 14 long-form videos with multiple subparts that John and I shot over a long period of time that the whole firm could watch. They could send to their secretaries and lawyers and work at. We have office hour calls. We have twice a year in-person meetings. We have one coming up in April. here in Detroit, and then we're going to meet again in Phoenix in November. And look, if they are loud enough and they get to know us well enough, yeah, we're mentoring them more often than that. And they're growing and thriving. There's criminal lawyers now and immigration lawyers and divorce lawyers, a lot of personal injury lawyers, and they are, Gino Wickman told me 15 years ago, I mean, I'll never forget this. He said, "You're my first law firm." I don't know the first thing about law firms. And the funny thing is, Chris, if you interviewed him next and said, "Michael, we do auto accidents, first party, third party. Gino, what's the difference between a first party and third party accident?" He'll have no idea. EOS coaches don't really, I don't want to know if the word care is right, but it doesn't matter to them what your business is. If you look at an EOS coach's docket, they have 20 different types of businesses. They have an SEO company, they have a law firm, they have a dentist's office, they have a construction company, etc. They are not subject matter expertise in anything except how to run a great business. And again, it's genius. So Fireproof is a complementary book to Traction. They should be, if you're a lawyer or in that, you should read them together. It's a real world use guide after being using EOS for 13, 14 years. And so I believe the Fireproof performance model is helping firms. We're adding firms every single week. We have dozens and dozens of firms. They're all on the calls. They're referring cases back and forth. They're asking questions back and forth. They're getting to see each other live. We had a big dinner in Miami in January all together. Plus in November we were in Scottsdale. I mean, it's so fun, And again, to remind your people, I donate all the money to charity, and we buy more backpacks. We're now in 7 states. We have law firms in 7 states doing our backpack program. It's for love right now. It's for the love of coaching and teaching and making lawyers and the profession better, because it's given me so much, and I love it, and John loves it. And now we have a little program where people can get help that they need. And I think it starts at like $2,500 a month for all those things that I told you. And if they can't afford $2,500 a month, then they definitely should not be spending that money on this. They have other problems. They got to be, right. They got to focus on other things. But if they can afford $2,500 a month, fireproofperformance.com. Email me at mike@855mikewins.com. I'll get you in touch with the right people. And because we're giving it all away. There's nothing off limits. There's nothing I wouldn't answer for you right now, and there's nothing I wouldn't help one of my coaching clients with. And heck, I answer for strangers all day long anyway.
I got to put a stamp on it because, my experience is like, hey, Chris, you need to create a scorecard. And it's like, okay, what numbers do I need to be looking at, right? And that's why I think it's so clear that not only is Fireproof a coach and a chairman, but you have the mentorship. You have, hey, John Knockazel's made this scorecard and refined this Jumbotron. And so when somebody's starting from scratch, they're not like scratching their head trying to figure out how to make the scorecard or do these different, or even things like channels. We talked about the spigot, how, a lot of times everyone just focuses on leads, but a lot of firms can't get leads, right? So, hey, here are some channels that you could look at, or these aren't the ones that you have to go to, but, I can be a connector because you work with all legal, law firms.